Hello everybody, Defensive Architect here, coming to you with a schematic video talking about my new scheme that I have built and have been working on through the New York Jets. I think the New York Jets, they're going to be my testing team. I'm going to test different defenses and defensive schemes throughout different seasons with this particular team, and then I'll transfer those schemes to my other regular teams in my regular content. But I think I'll use the Jets as my test team, so every season I have with them, I'll use a new scheme and see how I can maximize personnel with that scheme. Anyway, let's get to it. So the scheme here that you are looking at or that I'm going to be building is the cover one blitz zone blitzing scheme. Excuse me. So it'll be the cover one zone blitzing scheme. So the way that I have this set up is I as you can see here, I'm using the 4-3 as an example, but I pretty much have this on all formations. But with this 4-3 scheme here that you're looking at, you can see the list of plays there. I have the cover one hole, the cover one hole press, and I have the cover one robber press, and things of that nature. And with the cover one, what I'm trying to accomplish here is I'm trying to probe the offense. I'm trying to probe the offense to use a pro offensive formation, meaning that I'm trying to take them out of their spread offenses and things of that nature and concentrate on the scheme that they're looking at in front of them, or the formations they're looking at in front of them. And what tends to happen is when you run the cover one in general, it will probe your opponent to run the ball a lot, or run a lot of the drags and these meshes, run out routes, not out routes as much, but they run them, curls, hooks, corner routes, comebacks. So they run those quite often against the cover one. And the reason is because as you can see here, once again with the cover one, just looking at this, you see that the middle linebacker there is guarding the middle, the medium and short middle routes, and the free safety is covering the deep middle. So that leaves a lot of the seams. So you see that they're running. That's the other thing too. A lot of teams, they'll run like go routes or vertical plays down the seams. So what that introduces is an opportunity for you to audible to a zone blitz or a cover three. I also have cover three plays in here. So the cover three plays, that is going to cover the seams. Okay, that's going to cover the rare moments that certain teams may run the verticals on you. So the teams that will run the vertical on you, you'll be prepared for that. And also slant routes. They'll run slant routes as well. The slant routes depends on, again, the team you're playing, the personnel. Some teams run the slant route more often than others, while the majority of the time, most teams, they're going to run those curls and hooks, and they're going to run a lot of the seam vertical routes and corner routes. Okay, they may run those a lot more often than most other teams that may have unique play styles and offenses where they may be a little bit more creative with their offense. But If a team gets really desperate or whatever their situation is, they may actually run some screen plays. They'll throw a screen in there every now and then. Sometimes they'll cheese on you and they'll try to run a screen play like 5 times in a row just to kind of throw you off. I also have man blitz in here. So you can see I have the outside linebacker fire man. I have the outside linebacker fire man. I also have the free fire and things of that nature. So I also have man blitzing, but the man blitzing is for the run plays, because a lot of times running this, when you run a lot of cover one, you can stick to the cover one and still cover the run pretty well. But the ones that are most effective against the run are like the cover 3 base and the man blitzing. Okay. Preferably the outside linebacker fire man. That one is pretty effective towards most run plays. If they're running dead smack down your throat, like down the middle, that might expose you a little bit, especially if you're running the outside linebacker fireman blitz play. But generally speaking, the cover one play usually is enough to even cover the run. Okay, but you're just trying to get this quarterback out of character is really what you're trying to do, because there's a lot of teams are trying to hit you down the middle. Okay, they're trying to hit you down the middle. So that's what they're going to try to go for first, and then maybe they'll try to do all the other stuff. But covering the middle with cover one introduces opportunities in the seams and the outside. Okay. Now every now and then you're gonna have a quarterback who's gonna like run to the outside and do that little cheesy stuff that they like to do, which is like run to the outside, throw across the body, or like throw on the run across the body, and there's like a guy hooked or curled in the middle waiting for him to catch the pass, and they'll get like some extra cheap yards or something like that. So there's some things in here in this defense that will get exposed every now and then, but generally speaking, this is an extremely effective defense. But you have to make sure that you also have your audibles ran correctly. So looking at the audibles, as you can see here with the audible, there's some go-to plays that you can turn to in case you see a particular type of package that you want to expose. Okay, so here's the thing about the audibles. Now, the play that you're going to choose coming out of the playbook, out of the gate, is the cover one. Okay, the cover one is the base play. So you want to choose cover one, and then after that, you'll want to audible to one of these particular plays here: a zone blitz, or a cover 3, or a man blitz. And they're all effective depending on, you can't use them all the time. Okay, that's the other thing. Can't use them all the time. You can't keep using the same play, or I should say audibling to the same play over and over again, because you're going to get hyper exposed. All right, and the thing is about the thing about playing Madden is a lot of times it's easy to fall into traps and fall into habits and fall into these loops. Picking the same play over and over again, audibling to the same play over and over again, especially if it is effective or you got an interception out of it or a couple of sacks, then you'll be more inclined to keep choosing the play over and over again, or audibling to a play over and over again. But you don't want to do that unless you're baiting the team to do something that you're going to switch and cover. So in other words, the cover one base, the reason why you want to pick that play over and over again is because when you choose the cover one base play, they're responding to that. You can even keep using that play actually, because the thing is, you can audible to a zone blitz or to a cover 3, and then you can audible right back to the cover 1, because in many cases doing this, they're going to they're going to try to run some type of curl or going to try to run some type of hook anyway. So man-to-man is pretty effective against that, especially if you have high-rated man-to-man defensive backs. So you'll want to audible back and forth, but the bottom line is you want to run that cover 1 so you can probe them to perform particular plays, okay? Because the computer, okay, on the other side, the computer that you're going against, the computer's programmed to respond to certain plays, okay? They're programmed to be probed to choose certain plays against certain formations and against certain plays, so the cover 1, like I said, they're going to run the ball. They're going to run some short plays, so it's going to be a short hook, short out route, or short curl. It's going to be a lot of short plays, okay? And they're because they're trying to probe you, so they're going to run the short plays and do all that kind of stuff. But then you can probe them by you flipping it on them and you running a cover 3, which will introduce an interception, because they're going to throw towards the defense after a while. If you keep doing this and then you finally audible to a play that will cover the seams, it will cover the weaknesses of the cover 1, then in many cases they're going to throw towards the defense. Now, will that result to a pick or not? That depends on the position and where the ball is located. But all in all, that's what you're trying to do. So with this particular scheme set here, with the cover 1 zone blitz scheme, I'm alternating between cover 1, man blitz, zone blitz, and cover 3. Okay, and I'm doing all this so I can cover the seams and the outside. Okay, now you're probably asking why not cover 2? Well, cover 2, even though it can cover those seams and all that kind of good stuff, it is a pretty good selection. It is pretty good. I would say cover 2 man will probably best suit you if you're going to run some type of cover 2. I'm also going to test out some man-to-man schemes as well. And I'm going to create some man-to-man schemes as well. But, that's a side note. But the fact of the matter is that you want to probe the offense to do certain things. And you don't want to just throw all the plays in there and just try to cover everything. You just want to be accurate with your play calling to the point where eventually you'll catch them slipping. You just want to catch the offense slipping. And believe me, you'll catch them slipping. Like after a while, it's going to be inevitable. But the zone blitz, what the zone blitz does is it actually kind of resembles a cover 1 when you think about it. The only difference is that it, even though you have individuals blitzing, there's a lot of stuff happening. So they can run a slant route, they can run a slant pattern, they can run a lot of curls and hooks and stuff with that. The only thing that's going to be exposed is like the middle, the short middle routes. That's going to expose that. But the seams and the slants, that's where the zone blitzing is most effective. It's most effective against that because they're anticipating you to run that cover 1 that you've been calling this whole time. Okay, so they're going to run those slant routes, and again, depending on who you're playing, depending on the team you're playing and such, but that's pretty much how that goes. So yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and go to the next video, go to the next scene, and we're going to actually have some commentary within the game so I could give you some context on how to use this in a game situation. So let's go to the next video and let's go ahead and run that. Hello everyone, Defensive Architect here. we are going to demonstrate the cover one zone blitz scheme. And I've already kind of gone into some detail in the prior video, the prior sequence you just watched. So I'm not going to get too caught up in that, but I'm just going to give commentary in general about what you're going to be looking at here. So when I run this scheme, what I do is I run the cover one play over and over again. I just run cover one. Sometimes I'll run the press. Sometimes I'll run the regular formation. But what I'm doing here, I'm just probing the offense to respond to the cover one scheme. So what the offense tends to do is, in formation, which you're going to witness quite often, even in this game, what the offense tends to do is they tend to run a lot of base formation. They run a lot of the pro offense formations and stuff like that, and what happens is they start dinking and dunking with passing, or they start to run the ball a lot. And that's because with the cover one defense, a lot of times the offenses, they will run a lot of as far as passing plays, they'll run a lot of meshes, they'll run a lot of drags, they'll run curls and hooks and stuff like that. So and also, if you run it enough, if you run this defense enough, they'll also, from time to time, depending on the formation, if they're running a 3 receiver formation at times, they will run a corner route. So they'll throw a corner route, and sometimes they'll run a straight go route, but it also depends on the team you're playing. The San Francisco 49ers, in this particular game, they just so happen to run a lot of pro offense, running the ball. They're using Trey Lance in this, so in this particular personnel. So he's going to run a lot of dink and dunk and things of that nature, only because this is a West Coast offensive style of offense. Now, throughout the game, they would run, I would say they would run spread, maybe, maybe about 10% of the time they were running spread offenses and stuff like that. But as you can see there with that sack, what happens is when you run the cover one and you audible to a zone blitz, it will kind of throw them off a little bit, because the other thing I forgot to mention was the other thing is they will also run comeback routes and also run a lot of vertical plays in the seams. So when they're playing the seams, that's where the zone blitz comes in handy, because and also slant routes. I mean, it sounds like they're running like all kinds of stuff, or running a little bit of everything, but they're not necessarily running everything. They're running specific plays based on what you're giving them, the look that you're giving them. So and depending on the formation. So for example, like this particular formation, it's a I believe it's a 2 receiver formation, and he decided to throw it to the running back there underneath. So he decided to throw it to that flat route, but the formation was like a 2-man formation. This is a 3 receiver formation. So this is a 3-man formation. He's running with the ball. He tried to dump it off to his running back, but he kind of rushed the throw, what have you. So even here, a 3 receiver formation, on one side. So he threw to his drag route. And this is what I'm saying. Like there's that underneath play. That's what I'm saying. When you run this cover one zone blitz scheme, there's a lot of things you can manipulate. I'm actually giving him that play because I know running this particular scheme set is going to probe him to do this. Now you see once again they're running that 3 receiver formation again, and there's that. I think he was supposed to curl there, but he rushed the throw. So that's what I'm saying, guys. It's a really good defense to run. I'm currently, as far as with the Jets here in this particular situation here, there's a pick. That was a nice pick. So with this particular team, I'm number one. I have the number one offense. I'm pretty much number one in all statistical categories. Most statistical categories. I'm definitely number one in the red zone. Number one total defense. Number one in pass defense. Number 2 in rushing defense, I believe, as well. So, we're doing pretty well. Now that's that corner route that I was talking about. When you run the cover one enough, they're going to eventually throw to the corner there. And that's any team. And most teams that you play, they're going to, that's a nice sack. Most teams that you play, they're going to repeat this in most cases. There's some exceptions to some teams, based upon the uniqueness of their scheme and stuff like that. That's a nice pick too. We were locking them down in this game. I mean, and listen, this particular scheme, like most schemes anyway, like most of these playbooks, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect scheme. You're not going to shut every team out every time and things of that nature. But it's effective. It's extremely effective. And eventually, when you run this play enough, especially cover one, the teams start doing all kinds of stuff. And as you can see there, that with that last play, he tried to run a screen play. And there's that curl. There's that curl route again. So this is what I'm saying. It's like when you run the cover one, first of all, what you have to understand is that these teams, they're trying to throw towards the middle anyway. They're trying to throw to the middle. This nice lockup right there. They're trying to throw to the middle. They're trying to do all kinds of stuff to get to the middle. And if it's not available, they'll run that curl route, or they'll try to throw down the seams. So when you audible to the zone blitz, you're supposed to be able to cover those additional areas, right? So when they run a slant pattern, when they try to run a curl and things of that nature, they should be running into a defender, basically. But a lot of times, especially with Madden cheese and all this kind of stuff, eventually these guys kind of run free. And every now and then, if you keep audibling to the zone blitz, then, they're going to find those holes, and those holes are going to get bigger. And, those blocks are going to hold up a little longer, even though you have high-rated linemen. But that's neither here nor there. But the fact is, you have to be able to stick to the rawness of the scheme. And the rawness of this scheme is the cover one. The cover one kind of activates a lot of this activity, because of the nature of the man-to-man, of the man-to-man matchups, as well as covering that middle and really baiting them to sort of open themselves up to that seam. Okay, this particular game, they didn't really throw down the seams too much. I don't remember ever seeing them throw down the seams, but throw in between the seams and stuff like that. But they were running a lot of curls and hooks. They were definitely doing that. And I'll admit, just in general, those curls and hooks are very difficult to defend unless you are running like, you know, cover 2 maybe, or something like that, you'll pretty much be able to cover those hooks and stuff. But it's very difficult when it does happen. Like here, you know, this particular receiver was in a hook. He was just sitting there, just waiting to get the pass thrown to him. So, you know, those are a little bit more difficult to deal with in terms of this particular scheme. But overall, it's a really good look. It's a really good scheme. It's very effective and things of that nature. So, you know, that's that. But that was a good stuff there. That was a nice run stuff. There they go with the 3 receivers, right? Now I continue with the cover 1 here. I should have audible to maybe a cover 3 or something like that. But I stuck with the cover 1, and they caught me on the outside. But yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like cover, as you can see there, cover 3 is definitely an effective audible when you're trying to guard the seams, because eventually they're going to throw to the seams, even if you're baiting them a little bit and you finally audible to the cover 3. You know, they're gonna throw towards the defense eventually, like into the defense, and that's what you're trying to bait them to do, is throw into the defense and stuff like that. Now, what I don't care for is this little particularly this little cheesy thing that they do. It's like the quarterback runs with the ball, and then he's thrown across his body to a hook receiver, or to a curled receiver, or stuff like that. Like throwing it across the body down the field, you know, that's kind of cheesy, but you know, I mean, that kind of comes with it, with the territory and stuff. And that was a bad call. I don't even understand why they even called that. But yeah, so here they're in a 4 receiver spread, and I think they scored here. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like right there, you know, that hook play, that little annoying hook play is always annoying. But anyway, there you go, guys. That is the cover 1 zone blitzing scheme. I will post more videos, but this video is just an insight video, just to kind of give you some insight on what the cover 1 and what the cover 1 zone blitzing scheme is, and what you can sort of bait the defense to do. As you can see there, I held them under 200 yards passing. I held them to 21 yards rushing, and overall it was a good game. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, Defensive Architect is signing out. You guys have a great day.